fellow glue sniffers and sprue snippers, and welcome back to Blitzkrieg Model Works. I'm Bob, you know me as Darkland on the forums. How's it going, everybody? Quick little update. I haven't had a whole heck of a lot of time to build lately, but I have gotten the side armor for the Panther completed. I did have to do a little nip and tuck on the back sections where I mistakenly put in the pin in the wrong place. I have put the Aber fenders on and the track hangers. I'm debating whether I'm going to keep the track hangers or put in something a little more substantial. I'm thinking maybe about using something like plastic hard for the armor to actually have like heavy armor plates, since this is supposed to be in a urban combat environment, so very close in stuff. Mobility isn't such a huge deal driving through the streets for what this was designed to do. But that's as far as I've gotten on this one, other than I am going to have the radio operators / bow gunners hatch open. When you get the kit, this is the hatch that you get, pretty typical fare. This older kit, there's no interior detail at all. So using some Aber etch set, they actually give you some of this. And some reference photos. I have plenty of books, but you can get stuff online. I made a reasonable facsimile of the inside of the hatch. And there's also a counterbalanced spring-loaded lifting assembly that goes in as well. This is mostly Aber, but you do have to supply some wire for the shaft. You have to make your own coil spring, and it doesn't mention it in the kit, in the Aber instructions, but there's that spacer in the middle. You can see that quite clearly in the drawings. I don't know how close I can get. And these things took an enormous amount of time to get in. Super glue is a real pain in the butt when you're trying to work on something that small, but you don't have a lot of options other than soldering, which would be even more of a nightmare. But that's done. I'm only going to have the one hatch open. Driver's hatch will be shut, and I'll have a figure in that hatch. I did cut off the front fenders, and Aber also give you in the set. This comes in the G and I think the Panther fender set as well. These are hanger brackets. This is the driver's side. That's the bow gunner's side. And I'm debating, I'm not going to put the fenders on. I might put them on the Panther too. These do come as flat parts. I did solder them rather messily. I need a little practice on that. These indentations that come through here, these come flat. And what they tell you to do is to cut them off the fret and then just use a pen on a surface. Now, I think because this mat is textured, and I don't know if you can if I can get close enough for you to see. The ribs are textured too. Not overly happy. This one is just kind of a scrap. I've got a couple of sets of these, so excuse me. So I'm not sure if I'm going to try that or not. The ones that are on here are okay. They're a little heavy, but that's a maybe, a definite maybe. Somehow the bow machine gun, the Dragon one, was misplaced. It was not on the sprue. It was not rolling around the box. I have no idea where it went. I did have an old Tamiya one kicking around that I put in, so I put that on and replicated some weld seam. Again, a little heavy-handed. I can trim that down a little bit though. Started doing some of the PE on the end. This will actually have an armored cover. Sorry, this will have an armored cover over it. The black dots, I doubt I can get in anywhere near close enough for you to see. These are actually nuts and bolts made by a company called Grant Line. They make them a lot of model railroad stuff. Find their stuff is awesome to work with. The turret itself is pretty much done. I do have to do the rear hatch. I'm going to have that posed open with a figure in it. But all of the foliage loops are on. All the PE is on, including the little designator in the front for the commander's hatch. Now, I did have to do some work inside the cupola to get the periscopes to fit. This is one of the periscopes. Pretty simple affair. This is a one piece. There's 3 pieces total. This is the periscope in and of itself. And I kind of left it open on the bottom, makes it easier to handle with tweezers. I'm not going to put them in until everything's painted, because I'll have these painted a different color, and I'll probably put some armored glass or something. Some armored glass or something in there. But this is really easy to work with, this stuff. I mean, you can just bend this with tweezers. You don't need a photo etch bender for them. It's pretty simplistic. So that's where I am right now. Still waiting for the Aber 88mm barrels to come in, but I don't need that till the very end. Not a problem. And I will be doing another video on a product that I've rediscovered. I know a lot of people are using burnishing fluid to do metal tracks. And many years ago, I was introduced to a product back in the 90s, I guess, mid-late 90s. A gentleman that I used to work with did stained glass as a hobby. And I was talking about these tracks because Ferrule had just basically come out at the time, maybe been around for a couple of years. And he was mentioning that, well, if it's white metal, he uses a product for the caning on his stained glass. And the caning is it's a grooved lead that they put, that goes in between the pieces of glass, right? But they don't leave it silver or gray, they turn it black, and they use the stuff. And that is what I used on these, and it's dark, it gives it a nice rusty patina. I'll go a little bit more in depth in a little bit of a review. The stuff is insanely inexpensive as well, if you can find it. It took me about 8 months now to find somebody in Canada that actually stocks the stuff, which is really strange because it's made right here in Canada. There's a glass shop here in Red Deer that they claim to be a dealer, but yet they don't stock the product, and said that they're not getting any more till the dollar does better, which is kind of strange because I paid like under $7 for 8 ounces of this stuff, and you use it straight and it's reusable. Anyway, that'll be in a later update. So thanks everybody for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for your comments and your PM messages. I do try to respond as quickly as I can when I can. My work keeps me rather busy. I only maybe have a couple of days a week that I can work on stuff, which I know is better than what a lot of people do. But at any rate, again, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. Talk to you later, guys.